Good it's morning still. Good morning. So today I figured that my dog wants to join apparently. Hi, baby. That I have road tripped across the US. I did it when I was pretty young. I was 21 at the time. I feel like there's a lot that I learned on that trip. Just being underage and not knowing that, I guess not realizing that so many places were very strict about being under 21 and stuff like that. So I'll just kind of start from the beginning. If you're planning to road trip across the US, this is probably like a good place to start. I don't know. It was really fun. I'm not a road trip person. I get really car sick. Like, it's like 2 hours and I'm already car sick. I don't know if I would do it again, but it was really fun and I'm super glad I did it when I did. So, planning your trip. That's obviously the first place to start. I think my dog's going to be a problem in this video. Okay, so planning your trip. You roughly want to have, I started in Michigan just because that's where I live, and then our goal was essentially California. We were kind of going middle of Cali down and then back through. That was a rough goal of what we wanted. You want to have what cities you want to stop in along the way just kind of planned out. So we decided that Denver was the first city and it was 18 hours. That is a super long time. Obviously there's stops along the way, but make sure that you and whoever you're going with, you can either switch off if you want to just get the first day out of the way and get further across the country, whatever. Have that plan in mind and have that be a goal. I think your first stop is probably like, I don't want to say the most stressful, but like I feel like it takes forever to get there. So you want to have somewhere to look forward to on your first day. And then through there, we just kind of planned it. There were a couple places that I wanted to see in California that who I went with wanted to see in California. So we kind of planned it around that. And then just things on the way back as well. So that's really your first place. You want to have just ideas of where you want to be, not necessarily exact destinations, because a lot of things will be like, if you want to stay at a certain place, you might not get there in time. There's so many things that can happen on a road trip, but to have goals to get to and not like very strict ones, I think is super helpful. Also, how long you want to stay in those destinations. I remember when we went, we spent not as much time in other cities that we wanted to, just because we liked them so much. And then when we got to other cities, we're like, man, I wish I would have stayed in other places. And I think the only way you can really get to know that is just to travel. But I think it's a good idea to be like, I think I'm really going to like this, but also have a backup plan if it's not exactly what you want. Like maybe you make an extra day out of something, but always have another plan of like where you want to go and where you want to explore. My, I guess, third tip in planning your road trip, set aside a decent amount of money. I think it was around, what was put away at the time was between $5,000 and $6,000. I want to say it seems like a lot, but realistically, you are paying for gas, you're paying for hotels everywhere that you stay. We did stay in an Airbnb one night, I think. I don't remember for sure. I know we stayed in Airbnbs. It just depends on what's cheaper and what you want. You're not going to want to be staying in the most expensive hotels because you're going to run out of money faster. You want to look for stuff that has free breakfast in the morning, so that's one meal you're not paying for, because you are literally paying for everything. You're taking 2 weeks off of probably work or whatever, and at the time I was not getting paid, so I had to save up enough money to go on the trip and to pay bills, which was like a separate thing. But the between 5 and 6, it got us through the entire trip, all of the hotels, meals, activities that we wanted to do, stuff like that. So budget accordingly. If you want to stay at a super nice hotel in this one area, set aside the money to do so. Also, if there's like this big activity that you want to do and you know it's more expensive, set that aside, so that way the rest of your trip you're not like, shit, I just ran out of money and now I don't know what to do. So do that. Also, you have to get an oil change at least halfway through, I believe. Was it on our way back? I don't know. But we did have to stop, get an oil change. I think we did a couple other like little things just so the car was in the best condition. Moving onto the vehicle portion, you want a spacious car. I remember I had a smaller car at the time, which was fine. Now, just having a bigger vehicle and being used to bigger size, like my boyfriend now has a Blazer and I have a bigger car, so fitting into that tiny vehicle that I had would just not be it for me now. But make sure you have a spacious car so you can stretch your legs, because it's a lot of sitting and stuff like that, and you want to be able to fit everything that you bring. So I think it was a couple suitcases at the time, and those just got thrown in the trunk. But then we also had a cooler for food, so we weren't eating out for every meal. We would just have sandwiches and pack them on the way. So you want to have a car that's big enough to have all those things that you need. Also, to lay the passenger seat back, because there's a good chance one of you sleeping and one of you's driving. So have a big enough vehicle. Also, pick a vehicle that's pretty decent on gas. There's a lot of places once you get out west and you're basically driving through the desert, you really can't stop for gas. And you're like, holy shit, like this is a really long time. Like I really hope we don't run out. If there's a gas station, stop, fill up. I promise you'll thank me later. Oh, podcasts, music, whatever you want to listen to, download it before your trip. Most parts, I would say there was service, but there were certain parts driving through and back where we had zero service at all. You cannot scroll through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can't Snapchat your friends, nothing. Like you are just out there chilling in the desert in a hot car with the sun shining on you. Download stuff, because otherwise you'll be screwed and sitting in silence. So that is like the biggest tip that I could give you. Yeah, just download stuff. Whatever you want to listen to, download it onto your phone prior to either the road trip or where you know you have service. Also, when it comes to packing, you need to pack strategically. So you need to not purchase. I mean, if you're purchasing things, yes. But you need to pack things that you can rewear. So like shorts and pants. I can wear shorts, jeans, pants a few different times before I wash them. Shirts, I can't do that, but I can with pants. So you want to pack according to the weather. A couple just in case pieces, but somewhere you can really cut down is like pants and shoes. Don't overpack. You will be screwed. There's a good chance you're buying stuff on your trip anyway, so if something does happen, you can pick it up along the way. With shoes, like we went to a nice restaurant, so I packed one pair of nice shoes. I packed my hiking sandals because that's like where we were going, and then I think just like another pair of normal everyday sandals that I liked. Just pack strategically. You don't need to pack like you are going away for a while, but all of those things, if you really need to, you can stop and wash them. Only thing I would really say pack extra of, I would think I did a couple pair of socks and a couple pair of underwear, because you don't want wet socks or wet underwear and you aren't going to rewear those. So those would, I guess, be the only things that I would pack extra of. You can also buy stuff along the way if you truly need to. Next, hotels. So you want, again, I kind of touched on this earlier, you want to pick somewhere that's within your budget. Not every place that you stay needs to be the nicest of the nicest hotels. You don't, sometimes Airbnbs are cheaper, sometimes hotels are cheaper. You really need to check both to figure out what one best fits you, where you're comfortable going, and just what fits your basic needs, because you're not going to be staying there like for several days. Like, you're probably staying there for just one night. I know some of the hotels, one of the hotels specifically, it was really close to the town that we were staying in. Was it the nicest hotel? No, but it served us breakfast. There was a pool. It was a good location to like drive in and drive out of. So overall, like, it was fine. Was it the best hotel I stayed in? No, but it definitely met every need, and it was clean, well kept. That's really all you need. Also, if you are under 21, there's hotel restrictions. Did not realize this. I figured like once you were 18, you can just pretty much book whatever you want, which is kind of true. Kind of not. In the city of St. Louis, I think this is where we ran into the biggest problem. The entire city of St. Louis does not let you stay in a hotel unless you are 21. So we drove all the way into St. Louis, had a hotel booked, and then had to drive 30 minutes back out of the city to go stay at a hotel that like we didn't even plan. We were super mad, super frustrated. Part of it was my fault, and it was a fiasco. Couldn't get it refunded. That took like a couple days. I did end up getting my money back, but if you don't know, it really sucks, and it puts you in a really hard place, especially if you've been driving all day. There was one hotel that we stayed in LA. They asked if we were 21. We were not. It wasn't a big deal. They just had to clean out the alcohol of the room that was in like the mini fridge before we went up to the room. So make sure that your hotel that you're staying at is accommodating for your age. But if you're over 21, then this literally doesn't apply to you. But if you are under, this is like, you need to know this. Yeah, I think that's everything that I can think of, at least for now. I have like my notes over here, but if I think of anything to add, maybe there'll be like a part 2, but that is like the general overview of road tripping across the US. It's a lot of fun. I strongly suggest to do it. It is a blast. See if it's your thing. If it is, you can probably do it a ton more. If it's not your thing, at least you got to say you do it, say you did it, and had a good time. So that's all.